I was jogging through the park on a bright sunny day. I had my earbuds in, and I was listening to my favorite playlist, enjoying the view and the exercise I was getting. With monster attacks on the rise, days like these were hard to come by. I hoped the rest of the day would be like this, but unfortunately it wouldn't last. I didn't hear it when it started because of my earbuds, but nearby, a monster had appeared and started tossing cars around. People around me started running in the opposite direction of me, but because I was jogging, I didn't think much of it. I only realized something was going on when I saw the shadow of a car flying by me. I stopped and looked over in the direction I saw it go and found a car crushed and on fire. I gulped and pulled out my earbuds to hear an awful screech coming from the monster, followed by the screams of people. I turned my head towards where the car came from and saw the 30-foot monster that resembled an ogre. It had another car in its right hand and a giant club in its left, and it was destroying everything in its path. It was quite a bit away from me, but it still somehow noticed me. Because of that, it took the car it had in its hand, lifted it up, and then threw it right at me. I know I should have started running, but I found myself frozen. I watched as the car got closer and closer to me, and my head was filled with thoughts of seeing the afterlife. I thought the car was going to take me out, but just as monster attacks were on the rise, magical girl protectors were as well. She was so quick I didn't even see her until the car was split in two. She completely saved me, then looked back to check on me. Once she knew I was safe, she told me to get out of here, as more monsters were coming. I nodded and started to run away while she dashed forward to take on the ogre. I thought I could find somewhere to hide, but as the magical girl said, more monsters were appearing all over the place. It was a full-on invasion this time. I found myself surrounded by a bunch of goblins, all of whom were licking their lips and talking about eating me. I gulped and, in a panic, started to swing my arms around to try and scare them away, but that only made them laugh at me. One of them hit me on the head from behind, and I fell to the ground, which was when the rest came over and started kicking me. I ended up passing out not long after that, and this time I really thought I was in the afterlife. It told me what I had just experienced. Monsters were invading our world. The glowing ball then explained to me that the magical girls were trying to combat them. However, there weren't nearly enough of them for this crisis. The orb said it was doing its best to recruit more, but it was only safe to bestow magical power on people who meet certain requirements, which usually ends up being kind-hearted girls. However, with this being an emergency, it had to make exceptions. So it was recruiting guys with kind hearts, and that was why it was speaking to me. It told me I was currently being attacked and would soon pass on, but it could give me the same power as the magical girls, which would allow me to fight like them. It did warn me that it has no idea how its power will affect me, but it could guarantee me I could stand up and fight and maybe help push back the invasion, if not stop it entirely. I'll admit I was scared, but I was in danger, as were so many others. So I accepted the offer from the orb, the offer for magical power. It thanked me before flying through me. As soon as it did, my whole body felt energized, and I could feel the magical power flowing through me, covering me, even transforming me. A few seconds later the magic flowed out of me. I then opened my eyes and realized I was standing and awake again. The goblins that had been attacking me were all on the ground next to me, unconscious. So that wave of magic must have thrown them into the air and knocked them out. I took a minute to check myself for injuries. I found myself with no injuries, perhaps thanks to the magical power I just received, but I also found that I wasn't exactly myself. I was now a girl in a magical girl uniform. I let out an awkward laugh as I looked down at my chest and then at the dress that covered it. Both were very embarrassing, but as much as I wanted to figure out how to turn back, I don't know how long I'll have this power, and I need to use it, so I push my masculine pride down and look around. There were monster screams coming from all directions as well as people calling for help. I picked one of the directions and started running towards it, and I was amazed to find I was so much faster than before. I was so fast things around me looked blurry as I went by, and I now understand how that magical girl got in front of me before the car hit me. I arrived at one of the locations and found a mother holding her child and trying to protect them from a crab monster. I acted quickly by picking up a rock and tossing it at the monster, which again surprised me, as my strength increased as well as my speed. That simple, small rock was able to dent the crab monster's shell, which definitely got its attention. It let out a scream and then rushed towards me. I jumped into the air and yelled out to the woman and child. I told them to get out of here. The mother looked up at me, grabbed her child, and started running. The crab monster noticed that and tried to turn to attack them, which I wasn't about to let happen, so I came flying back down to the ground. I put all my strength into kicking the crab monster in the head, sending it down into the ground, breaking its shell and the concrete below it. After my kick, I hopped off the crab and put myself between it and the woman and child who were running away. As I suspected, this crab wasn't as weak as the goblins, and despite the top of its shell being entirely cracked and falling off, it was getting up to attack again. I needed something more than just kicking him, but what? I looked at my hand and remembered most magical girls have weapons. I had no idea what mine would be, but whatever it was, I could work with it. I press my hand to my heart and call upon my weapon to join me in the fight. My hand started to glow, and I could feel something appearing in my hand. Out of nowhere I suddenly had a large hammer, like the kind warriors in video games wield. It looked super heavy, but surprisingly it was super light, and I was able to wield it with one hand and swing it around like it was made of foam. I smiled at it, then looked at the crab monster. It had no idea of the world of hurt it was in for. A magical boy. A magical girl was about to defeat it.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Also check out my Patreon and DeviantArt pages. There you can find all my public stories. You can also support my work by getting early access to all stories, exclusive content, and even commission me to make you a custom story. Anyways, thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day.